Daniel Carter stood at the window of his office on Galactic Central Station, watching the endless stream of alien ships coming and going. After 5 years as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, he had grown used to the view. But it still impressed him. Today, however, he felt only a heavy weight in his chest. The council session had gone badly. Again. "Ambassador, the Xorlian delegation is requesting a follow-up meeting," said Olivia Grant, his assistant. Her voice was tight with the same frustration he felt. "Tell them I'm unavailable," Daniel said, not turning from the window. "I need to speak with Earth first." Olivia nodded and left. Daniel touched the silver pin on his collar, activating the privacy field around his office. Then he sat at his desk and opened a secure channel to Earth. President Catherine Maxwell's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired, with dark circles under her eyes. Running Earth's government was hard work, especially with the Council's constant demands. "Let me guess," she said. "They passed another regulation." Daniel nodded. Safety Measure 147. All human ships must now carry alien inspectors when traveling through any major trade routes. They claim it's to ensure we follow proper protocols. But really it's to spy on our technology, Catherine finished. That's the third new restriction this month. 30 years, Daniel said quietly. For 30 years we've played by their rules. We've shared our medical advances. We've helped negotiate peace treaties. We've even limited our colony expansion to keep the Praxians happy. And what do we get in return? More restrictions, more limitations. Catherine was silent for a moment. Then she squared her shoulders. "I'm calling an emergency session with the cabinet and military advisors. Join us via secure link in 3 hours. 3 hours later, Daniel sat in his private quarters as the screens around him showed Earth's leadership. General William Brooks of the Defense Force looked grim. Secretary of State Laura Wilson was reviewing documents with a deep frown. "We've analyzed our position carefully," President Maxwell began. "For 3 decades, we've attempted to be good galactic citizens, but the evidence is clear. The Council isn't interested in equal partnership. They're interested in containing us." General Brooks nodded. "My analysts believe the Xorlians and their allies are deliberately targeting human expansion. Each new regulation has slowed our growth while they continue to build up their forces." "What are our options?" Daniel asked. Catherine leaned forward. "I've made a decision, pending final approval from Congress. Earth is withdrawing from the Galactic Council." Stunned silence followed her words. "Madam President," Daniel finally said, "that would mean abandoning every treaty, every alliance we've built." "Yes, and regaining our independence." Her expression was firm. "We'll withdraw all representatives, recall our ships from Council space, and secure our borders." General Brooks added, "We've been developing defensive capabilities the Council knows nothing about. We can protect ourselves." "The economic impact," Secretary Wilson began. "Will be significant but temporary," Catherine cut in. "Our economists project an adjustment period followed by accelerated growth once we're free from Council restrictions." Daniel thought of the faces of his alien colleagues, some friends, many rivals. "The Council will not take this well." "Which is why we're not asking permission," Catherine said. "We're informing them of our decision. I need you to deliver our formal withdrawal statement. After that, you and all Earth personnel will come home immediately." Over the next 3 days, Daniel and his team worked in strict secrecy. Christopher Wright, his legal advisor, carefully drafted the withdrawal document to leave no room for Council objections. Samantha Rogers, his security chief, prepared evacuation plans for all humans in Council space. When everything was ready, Daniel put on his formal diplomatic uniform for what would be his last official act as ambassador. The small Earth pin on his collar felt heavier than usual. "The statement is finalized," Olivia told him, handing over a data crystal. "History in the making." Daniel tucked it into his pocket. "Let's hope it's the right kind of history." As they walked toward the Council chamber, Daniel noticed the Chlorlian ambassador watching him with a satisfied expression. The alien had no idea that his victory in yesterday's vote would be his last. Tomorrow, the galaxy would change forever. The council chamber was packed. Representatives from over 200 species filled the tiered seats that rose up like a giant bowl. Daniel Carter walked slowly to the speaker's platform in the center. His footsteps echoed in the sudden quiet. Frank Morrison, the Aldebaran delegate, and one of the few aliens Daniel considered a true friend, caught his eye. Daniel gave him a small nod but kept his face blank. Council leader Zex Troll, a tall blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, spoke first. The council recognizes Earth Ambassador Daniel Carter. You have requested emergency speaking time. Proceed. Daniel placed the data crystal into the podium. A small holographic Earth symbol appeared above it. He took a deep breath. For 30 years, humanity has been part of this council. We joined with hope for mutual growth and shared wisdom. His voice was calm but carried to every corner of the chamber. We have offered our medical knowledge, our art, our unique human perspective. We have fought in your wars, healed your sick, and helped negotiate 17 major peace treaties. Several delegates nodded. The Solari representative, whose people had benefited greatly from human medical advances, leaned forward. In return, Daniel continued, we have faced increasing restrictions on our growth, our technology, and our trade. Yesterday's vote was the final proof that this council does not view Earth as an equal partner, but as a threat to be contained. Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Chlorlian delegate stood, his scaled face flushing orange with anger. Point of order. The human is making accusations. I am making a statement, Daniel cut in. And by council law, I cannot be interrupted during a formal statement. Zextrol reluctantly motioned for the Chlorlian to sit. Daniel straightened his shoulders. Therefore, as of this moment, Earth formally withdraws from the Galactic Council and all associated treaties, effective immediately. The chamber erupted. Delegates jumped to their feet, shouting questions and objections. Some looked shocked, others angry, and a few seemed pleased. Daniel noted them all carefully. This is outrageous, the Praxian delegate bellowed. You cannot simply withdraw from binding agreements. Actually, we can, Daniel replied. Article 7 of the Council Charter guarantees the right of any member to withdraw with immediate effect if they believe their sovereignty is threatened. We are exercising that right. Through the chaos, Lisa Palmer, Earth's communications specialist, was monitoring the private channels between alien delegations. She leaned close to Daniel and whispered that Chlorlians and Praxians are already discussing how to divide our trade routes. Zextrol banged a ceremonial staff, trying to restore order. Ambassador Carter, surely this is a negotiating tactic. What concessions would satisfy Earth? This is not a negotiation, Daniel said firmly. It is a notification. All human representatives are leaving council space immediately. All treaties and agreements between Earth and council members are now void. Frank Morrison pushed through the crowd to reach Daniel. My friend, please reconsider. Without human diplomats, the peace between the Praxians and Solari will collapse. Perhaps the council should have considered that before systematically restricting human rights. Daniel replied, loud enough for others to hear. He softened his voice. I'm sorry, Frank. The decision is made. As Daniel and his team turned to leave, the chamber descended into chaos again. Dr. Alan Peterson, the xenopsychologist for the diplomatic course, whispered observations to Daniel as they walked. The Centauri are panicking. They rely on our trade. The Chlorlians look triumphant, but the Praxians seem worried. They didn't expect us to actually leave. Outside the chamber, Christopher Wright was already receiving urgent messages. 7 delegations are requesting private meetings before we depart. Decline them all, Daniel ordered. Our ships leave in 3 hours. As they walked toward the Earth Embassy for the last time, Olivia Grant looked at the alien station that had been their home for years. What happens now? Daniel watched as news of Earth's withdrawal spread through the station. Aliens were gathering in groups, talking urgently. Some were already rushing to communicate with their homeworlds. Now, Daniel said, we watched the Council realize exactly what they've lost. Back on Earth, President Maxwell was giving orders to Fleet Commanders Nickel Wright and Gregory Martinez. Establish defensive perimeters throughout our territory. All human ships are to be recalled from Council space immediately. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity would not be contained. 2 weeks after Earth's withdrawal, Captain Edward Bennett stood on the bridge of his ship, the Determination. The vessel hovered at the edge of what used to be Council space, running silent with all stealth systems active. Status report, Edward said quietly. Julia Klein, his science officer, looked up from her station. The Praxian and Solari fleets are moving into position. Looks like they're about to start shooting at each other. Edward walked to her screen and frowned. For decades, humans had kept these two species from war. Now, with Earth gone from the Council, old hatreds were flaring up again. Any sign they've detected us? He asked. Ryan Cooper, the tactical officer, shook his head. No, sir. Our new cloaking system is working perfectly. They have no idea we're watching. Good. Keep recording everything. Earth Command wants detailed information on how the power balance shifts. Edward returned to his chair and tapped the screen built into the armrest. Add to log. Day 14 post-withdrawal. As predicted, without human peacekeepers, the Praxian-Solari conflict has reignited. Across the galaxy at Proxima Station, the last human outpost before deep space, Commander Susan Miller was facing a different crisis. The large observation window of her office showed an unusual sight. Dozens of ships from various species, all waiting to dock. How many more arrived today? She asked. Paul Jackson, her chief engineer, looked exhausted. 17 new vessels since morning. Most carrying refugees, people who worked with humans or supported Earth policies. The Corleans are apparently hunting down anyone who had close ties to us. Susan rubbed her forehead. Find room for them somehow. No one who seeks our help gets turned away. We're converting cargo bays to living quarters, but we're running out of space, Paul replied. And supplies. Susan nodded. I've requested additional ships from Earth. Until then, we make do. She looked at the refugee ships again. These people chose us over the Council. We won't abandon them. Meanwhile, Admiral Rebecca Sanders observed the developing situation from her command center on Mars. Large screens showed movements of ships throughout former Council territory. The Corleans are moving fast, noted her second-in-command. They've already taken control of 3 trade hubs that used to be under Council protection. Rebecca studied the tactical displays. They'd been planning this for years. They just needed us out of the way first. Should we intervene? Our new fleet could easily. No, Rebecca cut him off. President Maxwell was clear. We defend our borders and our people, but we don't get involved in Council politics anymore. Let them solve their own problems. A young officer approached with a datapad. Admiral, we've detected unusual activity in Sector 7. The Tellarites are evacuating their colonies near Corlean space. Rebecca took the pad. The Tellarites were a peaceful species, advanced in technology, but small in numbers. They had always been friendly to humans. Keep monitoring the situation, she ordered. If the Tellarites request asylum, we'll consider it on a case-by-case basis. Back on Earth, President Maxwell met with her cabinet in the underground war room of the White House. The large table was surrounded by Earth's most powerful leaders, all watching as Defense Minister John Phillips gave his report. The withdrawal is proceeding as planned. All human ships have left Council space. Our borders are secure, and our new defense systems are operational. He pointed to a holographic map. However, we're seeing concerning developments. Without our influence, the Council is starting to fall apart. Secretary of State Laura Wilson nodded. As expected, We were the peacekeepers for too many conflicts. Without us, old rivalries are resurfacing. Is that our problem? Asked Intelligence Director Mary Harris. They pushed us out. Let them deal with the consequences. President Maxwell looked thoughtful. For now, we watch and wait. Earth comes first, but we need to understand how this new galaxy is taking shape. She turned to Phillips. Double the intelligence gathering. I want to know everything that happens out there. In deep space, Lieutenant Benjamin Scott sat alone in the small control room of Listening Post Alpha on Ganymede, Jupiter's largest moon. His eyes widened as data streamed across his screen. That can't be right, he muttered, checking the readings again. Multiple ships were converging near an abandoned human trade route. The pattern looked too organized to be random. He opened a secure channel to Earth Command. This is Ganymede Post. I think someone's planning something big, and they don't want us to know about it. 1 month after Earth's withdrawal, the Galactic Council was breaking apart. Species that had worked together for centuries now formed separate alliances, each trying to gain power in the new order. Secretary of State Laura Wilson walked into the White House meeting room, where President Maxwell waited. A small alien with pale blue skin and large eyes stood beside her. Madam President, this is Varn Tell, ambassador from the Tellarate Union, Laura said. The alien bowed deeply. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, President Maxwell. Catherine gestured to the chairs. Please, sit down. I understand your people are in a difficult position. Varn Tell's large eyes blinked rapidly. The Exorlians have demanded we give them access to our technology. They have moved warships to our borders. Without the Council's protection, and without humans, we cannot defend ourselves. Catherine studied the alien carefully. The Tellarates were known for their advanced technology and peaceful nature. They had always been fair to humans in Council matters. What exactly are you asking for? She asked. Protection, Varn Tell said simply. We wish to form an alliance with Earth. We offer our technology and knowledge in exchange for your military shield. Laura slid a datapad across the table. Their proposal includes access to their faster-than-light communication systems, which are much more advanced than ours. In another room of the White House, Defense Minister John Phillips argued with Intelligence Director Mary Harris. We cannot get involved. John insisted. The whole point of withdrawal was to focus on our own development without Council interference. Mary shook her head. The situation has changed. The Tellarates are offering technology we need, and their location would give us a strategic outpost. Limited alliances could benefit Earth and draw us back into galactic politics, John countered. Their debate was interrupted when a junior officer rushed in. Sir, we've received an urgent message. From the Praxians. John and Mary exchanged surprised looks. The Praxians had been Earth's strongest opponents in the Council. The message played on the screen. The Praxian ambassador looked nervous, his normally confident expression replaced by worry. Earth government, we request immediate assistance. Since your departure, subject species in our territory have begun rebellions. They believe our power is weakened without Council backing. We are prepared to offer substantial concessions in exchange for human peacekeeping forces. When the message ended, Mary laughed. How quickly things change. Now they need us. Desperation, John said. The Praxians ruled through fear and Council authority. Without either, their empire is crumbling. On Ganymede, Lieutenant Benjamin Scott continued monitoring strange ship movements near Earth's former trade routes. He reported his findings to Commander Patricia Adams. The patterns are too regular to be coincidence, Benjamin explained, pointing to the display. These ships are from different species, but they're coordinating. Patricia studied the data. Could be normal trade or migration following our withdrawal. I don't think so, Benjamin said. They're being careful to stay just outside our sensor range. And this formation, it looks military. Patricia considered the information. If she reported this as a potential threat, it might escalate tensions. If she dismissed it as normal activity and it proved dangerous, Earth could be caught unprepared. Continue monitoring, she finally decided. Gather more evidence before we alert Earth Command. Back in the White House, President Maxwell made her decision about the Tellerate request. We will form a limited defensive alliance. She told Varn Telephone Earth ships will protect Tellerate borders, but we will not engage in offensive actions against other species. The alien's face brightened. This is most generous. My people will be grateful. After Varntel left, Laura turned to Catherine. This is a significant step. Other species will notice. Catherine nodded. I know, but we can't hide forever. Earth needs strategic partners, not isolation. She looked out the window at the Washington skyline. Besides, the Tellerates were always fair to us. We protect our friends. And the Praxian request. Catherine's expression hardened. Tell them we'll consider their situation. After they remove all restrictions on human trade they insisted on during the last council session. Laura smiled. They won't like that. They don't have to like it, Catherine replied. They just have to accept that the old power structure is gone. Earth makes its own terms now. 3 months after Earth's withdrawal, the Galactic Council officially collapsed. The chamber that had hosted debates for 500 years now stood empty. The Aldebaran and Centauri delegations, the last to maintain hope for the Council's survival, finally withdrew their support. Dr. Kevin Martinez sat in his office at Earth's Diplomatic Institute, surrounded by screens showing news from across the galaxy. As the leading xenanthropologist studying alien cultures, he watched with professional interest as societies changed without Council influence. Look at this, he said to his colleague Professor Nancy Taylor. The Praxians have lost control of 3 more colony worlds. Nancy nodded. Their empire was built on Council backing. Without it, the subject species are asserting independence. She pointed to another screen. And the Xorlians are becoming more aggressive. They've abandoned all pretense of diplomacy. It's like watching children after the teacher leaves the room, Kevin observed. Some immediately break the rules, some try to become the new authority, and some just try to protect themselves. Nancy pulled up new data. My analysis shows at least 7 species have reverted to pre-Council behavior patterns. Cultures that seemed permanently changed are falling back on old instincts. On Titan Base, circling Saturn, Colonel Joseph Mitchell watched live feeds from scout ships. The screens showed a massive battle between Xorlian and Praxian fleets near what used to be a peaceful trade hub. They're tearing each other apart, he said to Surgeon Helen Foster. Both sides using weapons that were banned under Council treaties. Helen studied the tactical display. The Xorlians have the advantage. Their ships are faster. But the Praxians have more of them, Joseph replied. And they fight with less concern for casualties. He zoomed in on the battle. Either way, that sector will be unusable when they're done. All those trade routes and habitable planets, destroyed in the crossfire. Helen glanced at the training schedule on her tablet. Should we adjust the drills? Focus more on these new weapon types? Joseph nodded. Yes, and add scenarios for large-scale fleet engagements. If this conflict spreads toward human space, our Marines need to be ready. Meanwhile, Commander Eric Watson of Earth Intelligence received surprising information from his agents. The Solari, a species previously considered minor players in galactic politics, had seized control of 3 strategic wormholes using advanced weapons no one knew they possessed. How did they hide this technology from Council inspectors? Eric asked his team. The same way we did, his deputy replied. They showed what they wanted the Council to see. Apparently, everyone was keeping secrets. Eric studied the reports. The Solari were always clever. Small population, but very adaptable. He made a note. Add them to the list of potential allies to approach. We need more information about their intentions. Back on Earth, President Maxwell met with her full cabinet. The large meeting room was crowded with advisors and military officers. The Council is officially gone, she announced. After 5 centuries, The institution that governed interstellar relations has dissolved. No one seems surprised. They had been watching it happen for months. What happens now? Asked Health Secretary George Nelson. Now we build something better, Catherine replied. Earth will not remain isolated forever. We need a new framework for dealing with other species, one that respects sovereignty while allowing cooperation. She turned to Secretary of State Laura Wilson. Begin drafting what we'll call the Terran Accords. Basic principles: non-interference in internal affairs, mutual defense treaties, and free trade without bureaucratic oversight. Laura nodded. Several species have already sent unofficial requests to discuss new relationships with Earth. The Tellarites, Aldebarans, and surprisingly, the Centauri. Good, Catherine said. Start with them. Species that approach us as equals, not those that try to limit us. Defense Minister John Phillips raised a concern. The Xorlian-Praxian War is spreading. If it reaches Tellarite space, we'll be obligated to defend them under our new treaty. Catherine's expression was firm. Then we demonstrate what happens when someone threatens an Earth ally. She looked around the room. Humanity withdrew from a broken system. We didn't withdraw from the galaxy. It's time to shape a new order, on our terms. As the meeting continued, a junior officer quietly handed Admiral Charles Warren an urgent message. He read it quickly, his expression growing concerned. Madam President, he interrupted, our sensors have detected a large fleet of unknown origin approaching the solar system. They're requesting to speak with Earth's leadership. Catherine turned to him. Hostile. Unknown, Charles replied, but they're led by someone unexpected. Zextrol, the former council leader. 6 months after Earth's withdrawal, Neptune Station buzzed with unusual activity. The massive space platform, once used mainly for scientific research, now served as Earth's diplomatic outpost. Ships from various alien species hovered nearby, waiting for permission to dock. Chief Negotiator Diane Williams watched through the large observation window as a small, unarmed vessel approached. Unlike the others, this ship carried the former leader of the now-collapsed Galactic Council. Zextrol's shuttle is docking now, reported Andrew Phillips, the cultural specialist on Diane's team. Security check, Diane asked. Complete, replied Lieutenant Angela Stevens. Only Zextrol and 2 aides. No weapons, no hidden communications. Diane nodded. Let's see what was so important that the former council leader would come here personally. In the meeting room, Zextrol looked different from the confident figure who once presided over the council. His blue skin seemed paler, and his 4 arms moved nervously. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, he said. Many species would not. Earth listens before making judgments, Diane replied coolly. But we have not forgotten your role in restricting human development. Zextrol's large eyes blinked rapidly. I admit mistakes were made. We feared your rapid advancement. That fear led to policies that ultimately destroyed the council. Andrew studied the alien's body language. To Diane he whispered, he's being truthful. For his species, this level of admission is extremely rare. Diane leaned forward. Why are you here, Zextrol? The galaxy is dissolving into chaos, he said. The Xorlian-Praxian War has destroyed 17 worlds already. The Solari have seized control of key wormholes and are demanding payment for passage. Pirates control former trade routes. He paused. We need humans to return. Diane kept her expression neutral. Return to what? The council no longer exists. To leadership, Zextrol said simply. Humanity must help build something new. On a different docking bay of Neptune Station, Linda Thompson, Earth's strategic analyst, met with a very different visitor, the Xorlian ambassador, once Earth's strongest opponent in the council, now offered a smile that showed too many teeth. Earth has demonstrated remarkable wisdom by withdrawing from the council's constraints, the Xorlian said smoothly. Now we offer you a chance to demonstrate your strength as well. Linda reviewed the proposal on her screen. You're offering technology sharing and control of 12 star systems in exchange for military alliance against the Praxians. A mutually beneficial arrangement. The ambassador replied, "Your ships, our navigation systems. Together, we can ensure stability." "You mean ensure Xorlian dominance," Linda corrected. The ambassador's smile didn't waver. "Is that not what humans want as well? Dominance? Power?" In yet another meeting room, Diane's colleague Andrew Phillips spoke with an Aldebaran representative whose silver skin reflected the room's lights. "We seek no advantage, no territory, no power," the Aldebaran said, voice trembling. "We ask only for humanitarian aid. 3 refugee worlds are overflowing with victims of the Xorlian Praxian War. They have no food, no medicine." Andrew made notes on his tablet. "How many refugees are we talking about?" "Millions now, more coming every day." As these meetings continued across Neptune Station, Admiral Charles Warren supervised the deployment of Earth's new defense platforms throughout the solar system. From his command ship, he watched as massive weapons systems moved into position. "Is this really necessary?" asked his first officer. None of the diplomatic vessels seemed threatening. "That's because they can see our strength," Charles replied. "Earth negotiates from a position of power now. The aliens need to understand that." Back in her office, Diane Williams compiled reports for President Maxwell. Each alien delegation had presented different offers, different pleas, different demands. The Xorlians wanted military alliance. The Praxians offered mineral rights. The Aldebarans begged for aid. The Centauri proposed trade agreements. The list went on. "What do you think they really want?" asked Linda, reviewing the data. "Safety," Diane answered. "The Council provided stability, however flawed. Without it, everyone is vulnerable." She looked at the screens showing the various alien ships. "They're all afraid, and they've realized something important." "What's that?" "Humanity was never the threat they feared," Diane said. "We were the foundation they depended on." Later that night, Diane sent her final recommendation to Earth. The message was simple. They need us more than we need them. This is our chance to reshape galactic civilization. As Neptune Station's lights dimmed for the night cycle, the alien vessels remained in orbit, waiting for Earth's response. For the first time in galactic history, humans held all the power. The United Earth Congress building in Geneva was packed. Representatives from every human nation filled the Grand Chamber. Today, President Catherine Maxwell would announce Earth's response to the many alien delegations seeking new arrangements. Catherine stood at the podium, looking out at the sea of faces. Cameras broadcast her image to billions of humans across Earth and its colonies. She knew her words would also reach alien worlds. For 3 decades, humanity tried to be a good galactic citizen. She began. "We followed rules designed to limit us. We helped maintain peace for species that feared our potential. We compromised our own growth to make others comfortable." She paused. That approach failed. Not because of humanity, but because the Council was built on control, not cooperation. The audience was silent, hanging on her words. "We did not withdraw from galactic affairs to watch civilizations burn," Catherine continued. "Neither will we return to a broken system that constrained human potential. Instead, we offer something new." Behind her, a large screen displayed a simple document titled The Terran Accords. "Today, I present a new framework for interstellar relations," she announced. The Terran Accords are based on 3 core principles: non-interference in internal affairs, mutual defense, and free trade without bureaucratic oversight. As Catherine explained the details, Project Director Sandra Nelson waited nervously in a room beneath the Congress building. Around her stood various devices and blueprints, technologies developed during Earth's isolation. "Do you think they'll accept it?" asked Robert Carter, the chief engineer. Sandra adjusted her glasses. "Some will. The ones who need us most. The real question is whether the Xorlians and Praxians will see this as a threat." Robert shrugged. Everything humans do is a threat to them. That's why they tried to contain us in the first place. Up in the chamber, Catherine reached the most important part of her announcement. Unlike the Council, the Terran Accords do not require species to join as a group. Each civilization may choose individually to sign treaties directly with Earth. There will be no committees voting on what technologies are safe or what colonies are acceptable. Each signatory maintains its independence while gaining Earth's protection and partnership. In the audience, ambassadors from various human nations nodded in approval. This approach put Earth at the center of a new network of alliances without creating a bureaucracy that could be turned against human interests. To demonstrate our commitment to progress, Catherine continued, all signatories will gain access to technologies previously restricted by Council regulations. At this cue, Sandra and Robert entered the chamber. With them came a team of scientists wheeling in several devices. Our scientists have developed faster ships, stronger shields, and more efficient terraforming techniques, Catherine explained. These advances will be shared with all who join the Accords. Sandra stepped forward to demonstrate. This propulsion system reduces travel time between stars by 60%. She explained, activating a small model that hummed with energy. And this shield technology can withstand weapons that would destroy current defenses. Robert added, the terraforming equipment can make hostile planets habitable in months rather than decades. Murmurs of amazement spread through the audience. These technologies would transform interstellar travel and colonization. Catherine returned to the podium. These advances were achieved in just 6 months without Council restrictions. Imagine what we can accomplish together under the Terran Accords. On Neptune Station, Diane Williams watched the broadcast with the alien delegations. Their reactions told her everything. The Tellarite representative immediately stood. We wish to sign the Accords today. The Aldebaran followed. We also accept these terms. The Solari and Centauri representatives exchanged glances before requesting time to consult their governments. But the Xorlian and Praxian ambassadors remained seated, their expressions cold. This is human domination by another name, the Xorlian hissed. It is exactly what we feared, the Praxian agreed. Diane observed them calmly. It is cooperation with those who respect us and opportunity for those who join us. Your species are welcome to sign, or not. The choice is yours. As the meeting adjourned, Diane received a message from Earth. President Maxwell had simple instructions. Prepare for the first official signings of the Terran Accords. A new era begins today. 1 year after Earth's withdrawal from the Galactic Council, the galaxy had transformed. Where once stood a single, flawed institution, now existed the Terran Accords, an alliance of 17 species with Earth at its center. Harmony Station hung in space at the midpoint between Earth and Tellar, a massive structure built through the combined efforts of multiple species. Its central dome housed the assembly hall where representatives of all signatory species gathered. Captain George Miller walked through the bustling corridors of the station. Humans worked alongside Tellarites, Aldebarans, and other aliens who had joined the Accords. His exploration vessel Discovery was docked for resupply before heading into uncharted space. Captain, the science team is ready for your inspection, said Lieutenant Carol Jenkins, his first officer. George nodded. Let's meet our new colleagues. In the science bay, a team of researchers from 3 different species prepared equipment. A Tellarite scientist adjusted sensors while an Aldebaran analyzed star charts. Human researchers worked on biological containment systems. This is what makes us different from the Council, George said quietly to Carol. They feared cooperation. We embrace it. Carol watched the mixed team work together. It wasn't easy establishing the new protocols. Different species have different methods. But the results speak for themselves, George replied. More discoveries in 1 year than the Council managed in 10. In another part of the station, Michelle Davis prepared for a difficult meeting. The diplomatic officer reviewed files on her tablet as she waited in a conference room. The door slid open, revealing 2 aliens who would have been unthinkable allies a year ago. The Chlorlian and Praxian representatives entered cautiously. Both looked tired. Their war had ended 3 months ago, leaving both powers exhausted and their economies in ruins. "Thank you for agreeing to meet," Michelle said politely. The Chlorlian spoke first. "The hegemony has reconsidered its position on the Terran Accords." The Praxian added reluctantly, "As has the Empire. Our current situation requires practical solutions." Michelle kept her expression neutral, but inside she felt satisfaction. These were the species that had most aggressively tried to contain humanity. Now they came seeking terms. "Earth is open to discussing your admission to the Accords," she said. "However, all members must agree to accept new signatories. Some species remember how they were treated under your influence in the Council." The aliens exchanged uncomfortable glances. They understood the message. The power dynamic had permanently shifted. On the observation deck of Harmony Station, President Catherine Maxwell and former Ambassador Daniel Carter stood side by side, watching ships come and go. After a year of constant work building the new alliance, they finally had a moment to reflect. "Did you ever imagine this would be the outcome when you delivered our withdrawal statement?" Catherine asked. Daniel smiled. "Never. I thought we were just freeing ourselves from restrictions. I didn't realize we were creating something entirely new." Below them, the assembly hall was preparing for its monthly session. Representatives from all 17 signatory species would discuss trade, exploration, and mutual defense. Unlike the old council, each species maintained independence while agreeing to basic principles of cooperation. "We didn't withdraw from diplomacy," Catherine observed, watching the ships dock at the massive station. "We just changed the terms of engagement." Daniel nodded. "The Council spent centuries trying to maintain the status quo, keeping advanced species from outpacing others. It created resentment and secret development. While our approach embraces progress," Catherine added, "help those who want to advance, protect those who need time, and respect the choices of all." A small alarm chimed on Daniel's wrist device. "The assembly is about to begin. The Centauri delegate is presenting the proposal for joint development of the Orion Nebula." Catherine took a last look at the view before they headed to the assembly hall. Ships of various designs moved together in perfect coordination. Species that once competed now cooperated. "Sometimes," she said, "you have to walk away from a broken system to build something better." Daniel smiled as they stepped into the elevator. "And sometimes what looks like a retreat is actually the first step forward," Catherine finished. The elevator doors closed as the two humans descended to join their galactic partners. Earth had withdrawn from the Council, but in doing so, had created a stronger, fairer alliance. Proof that humans could reshape the galaxy not through domination, but through principled leadership.